It's time to wander the world with Sharon. Enjoy this Big Blend radio podcast featuring award-winning travel writer and photographer Sharon K. Kurtz. Welcome, everyone. It is time to wander the world with Sharon, and today she's taking us to Quebec City in Canada, and this is a destination I've always wanted to go to because of the history, but she also not only covers the history and the food, she takes us out into nature as well. So very excited about this, Sharon. Welcome back. How are you?
Thank you. I'm really well, and I'm happy and excited to talk about Quebec City.
Now, have you been there before, or was this your first time?
No, I was there it was a good 8-10 years ago. So I was happy to come this time, smack in the middle of summer during festival season. It was a wonderful, brought back all good memories.
The festival season, that's something you say in your article. And everyone, Sharon's got an article up on blendradioandtv.com. It's linked in the episode notes, so check that out. You talk about the festival season is really huge. So it's kind of celebrating the French history, the culture, and the arts, right? And there's people dressed up.
Yes, it is so cool. We went specifically for this. Quebec City has seasonal direct flights to Quebec City from several U.S. cities, Chicago, New York City, and now DFW. So we went because there was a direct flight, and we went to go to the Fêtes de Nouvelle France, and that is a festival to celebrate their French history. You know, Quebec City was the capital of New France way back in 1600, and that was the start of the French colony in France in the New World. And King Louis said, the fun thing is that they had to populate it. They just had a bunch of burly men here to start the colony. So King Louis sent these orphans and widows to the new colony, and they were chaperoned and taken care of by these nuns to kind of make love matches with the men there to populate the colony. And so now, during this festival, everybody dresses in costume from the 1600s, and they have booths everywhere that shows how they started, a blacksmith forge, and the women. And anyway, it was so much fun.
Wow. So just being able to experience that culture, I didn't know about that with the women and the girls at all.
It's called the Filles du Roi, I mean the ladies of the king, or the women of the king, and he protected them and brought them over, and the men, they had to really pull themselves together and put their best selves on, because there were like 800 men to, 100 women, something like that. And so then the women, they got to know the men, and if there was a match made and a married, then the men chosen got extra land and extra things. And so it was really important to make a love match and start a family, and that's how the colony got started.
Wow. Cool information, man. So, and this is actually, Quebec City is on the UNESCO World Heritage Site, right? It's a World Heritage Site, the whole city, and it's also one of the only walled cities in North America.
Yes, it is the only walled city in North America, and the good thing is that
north of Mexico.
North of Mexico.
We got to get that right. People are going to yell at us.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't reading my notes. North of Mexico. So they have these ramparts and walls. You can walk like 3 miles around on top of the walls, and they have an upper town and a lower town. The lower town, that's where the city was founded. And then they have the upper town where maybe people of means lived in the upper town. And so it's just charming. So French, it is a French province. French is their first language. And boy, you really know it. People do speak, in the tourist areas, they speak English, of course, but I went to some areas, like I went to a market and talked to a woman about buying fresh strawberries. They were the best, and she did not speak English.
Wow. Now, your time in France, did that help you in conversing with people?
No, I'm terrible. I can say bonjour and merci, and that's it.
And oui.
That's terrible, and so I have
bon appetit.
Yeah, I know that one.
Okay, so that's it between us both. Well, but I think that's the beauty about travel, right? Is that you start to hear those languages, even if you can't speak them, you want to try. But I love to hear other languages, especially when you go to a place that is very international and you just hear different languages all
Yeah.
around you,
And
you
you know
know?
what? If Americans, like, it's so easy to get there. And if you want to learn French, they have immersion schools there. It is the best place. You go for an extra week, sign up for French immersion. Maybe you took it in high school. Maybe you want to bone up. That's another way to learn the language, just immersing yourself in the language.
I would have to go from the very beginning. And that's the
Yeah.
way, immersion, like you said. Well, okay, but the French we all know how to cook. I mean, this is, so gastronomy, the food. You say in your article, like, we always talk about poutine, maple syrup, but move on. This is
Yeah.
Michelin star food.
Yeah. That's another reason why we went was because I love to write about food. And Michelin came to Quebec to start a Michelin guide in Quebec. And of all the cities in Quebec, including Montreal, Quebec City got the most designations, the most starred restaurants, and something called Bib Gourmand. That means good value for money. So it's not so expensive, but it's a really great place to eat. So we ate really well in Quebec
Oh.
City.
Was there anything that you would say is different, being over the border in Canada and in their region that really kind of stood out for you from their kind of food?
Yes, they like regional food. I mean, food really grown in their backyard. There was duck, fresh mushrooms, lots of greens, and local wines. Grow a lot. They have a lot of wine up there. So everything was regional and earthy and just delicious.
One of the things I love that you brought up in the article, and then also, the photos is these cobblestone streets. I mean, isn't that just one of the most charming? There's nothing like it.
It is, and they're narrow streets, and you really feel like you're in France from the red and white striped umbrellas over the tables, and the buildings are all stone and built, in the there's still architecture from 1600s
Wow.
there in Quebec City.
Wow. So a lot of walking. This is like a walking town.
Yes, it is. It's small and it is walkable. So they have this cool thing, I told you that they have the upper town and then the
Yeah.
lower town. So in the upper town is the Chateau Frontenac. Oh, it's this fabulous hotel, kind of like the picture behind me. That is called Dufferin Terrace, and the Chateau Frontenac is right that way. So and then I walked down the stairs, so many stairs, all the way down to Lower Town, and that's where it's one of the oldest streets still remaining in Canada, with all
Wow.
these shops and restaurants and views of the St. Lawrence. And so then, but to go back up, there's what they call is the funicular. It's back in the day, the people the ships unloaded their goods down there in the bottom, and they had to carry them all the way up, and it was dangerous and steep. So finally, like in the 1800s, they built this funicular to help them bring goods up. So that's what I do. I walk down, do my thing down in the bottom, and then take the funicular back up.
That's cool. That's cool. So you don't have to carry everything upstairs and be all, yeah. But I think that's the thing. You're eating really good food. You're walking. So there's a nice healthy balance there. And you got the St. Lawrence River that you're talking about. Now the river, so you're able to walk along the riverside, basically look over and see it. Are you able to
Yeah.
go on like a boat or anything? Is there anything
Well,
like that?
yes, there's cruises actually. Quebec City is one of those popular cruise stops on the St. Lawrence Seaway, a New England kind of a cruise experience. So a lot of people I arrived by airplane, but a lot of people come by cruise and then they spend a few days in Quebec City. So
Wow.
one fun thing that we did was we took an e-bike ride, and along the St. Lawrence, it went for a long way, like 8 miles, all along the river. That was lots of fun.
Now, okay. You always get on a bike if you see one.
I do. Every trip, except this time, I will tell you, we had a little mishap. I was behind my guide, and
Uh-oh.
the e-bike was new, and there was someone that crossed his path, and he went like this, and I hit my brakes, and I went flying over the handlebars
Oh my
and
gosh.
landed like this. Nothing happened. I was stunned, but I got up, dusted myself off, and we kept going, so I didn't break
You go,
anything.
girl.
And then
That's good.
my husband was with me, Dave, and we were riding along quite a ways, and I was very careful on my bike since I had my mishap, and I said to the guide, I said, "Do you see Dave back there?" He turned around, I said, "No." And so we left Dave like 5 miles back. He had a bike his chain came off of his bike. So that was a crazy bike ride. He
Wow.
lost both of his guests.
It
Covered.
happens. It happened. Oh, was he trying to sit there on the side of the road trying to fix it?
Yes, he was. And his phone didn't work because he didn't have roaming yet. So he didn't know how to call us. And he was way, way back there. But we found him. We met up again.
Bad. That's funny. But those things happen. And those become part of the stories of travel. And if we don't hit a few bumps, what are we,
Yeah.
a few bumps always happen.
Yeah,
That's
I think our guide will always remember us. Yeah.
and yeah, and then remember to look back at both his guests.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Well, also, speaking about being active, right? Because you've got to work off this food. Going out into nature, you went to a waterfalls, water areas. Tell us
Yes.
about the nature,
There
like
is
right
so much
behind me for people to see. Like
Yeah.
this is
There
pristine.
is so much nature up there. Number one, there's Montmorency Falls. It is taller than Niagara Falls, just like 15 minutes from downtown Quebec City. So that is really cool to go there. And then the Ile de New Orleans. It's an island right with a bridge right close to Quebec City, and that's like the breadbasket of Quebec. There's farms and wineries and berry picking farms. We went to a place and we picked our own strawberries and little shops and tea houses. And then you can also e-bike over there. And then other than those two things, there is a national park within a half an hour of Quebec City. So we took a shuttle. There's a shuttle there in Quebec City, took us half an hour, and it's called Parc National de Quebec, Jacques Carter. So it is a glacier area, and you can kayak and hike, and it's really
Oh.
just like the picture behind you. It is so beautiful.
Is it Carter or Cartier? I was
Cartier.
wondering. Is it
Jacques
Cartier?
Jacques Cartier. Yes.
Cartier. I was wondering that because
Thank you.
when I was reading about it, now I'm like going, I had it as that, and then because I can't pronounce anything, it's just
Yeah. So I'm
that.
not very good with French accents, but Cartier is, and he was like discovered the area all those years
Yeah,
ago, and
he
now
was
it's
an
named after.
explorer.
Yes, he
Yeah,
was.
he's like a famous, but I didn't know if it was the same. But what's so interesting is we make all these connections when we travel, and he went all over, even other parts of the United States, and I've seen his name in parks and going, okay, so that's where I make those connections, and I never know if it's the right person. You know what I mean? Do you find that too when you travel? Like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and those explorers in the early days, they got around, they were like fur trappers and explorers, and
yeah.
they went down into, the US area, and so
Yeah. Man, I want to go to Quebec. I want to go. Now, where did you stay? Because there's all these historic hotels like the Frontenac, I think was actually the first hotel. I think that is a UNESCO Heritage Site
Yes,
itself.
it is from 1892, and actually it was built because they wanted to connect to Canada, all of the province. You know how big Canada is, and they started
Yeah.
building these railroad hotel stops. One is in Banff, and and then it goes across, and then now they have one in Vancouver. So they built them across Canada. Chateau Frontenac is famous. It looks like a fairy tale castle built in 1892, and for the railroad, still there and gorgeous. But another interesting thing is that is where they had World War II talks with in 1943 with Roosevelt and Winchell Churchill, and they were
Yeah.
planning D-Day at Chateau Frontenac in
That's crazy.
1940.
That's amazing. It's amazing history. And then where did you stay? Because your hotel
You
was
asked me
also,
that. We
yeah.
stayed in this beautiful little boutique hotel, the perfect location, right in the middle of things. And it was built in 1870, and it was called Hotel Clarendon. So it's kind of smaller. I wanted a smaller hotel because Chateau Frontenac is huge, like 6,000 rooms.
It's
Very
a
big.
castle.
Yeah, it is like a castle. So anyway, we stayed at the charming Chateau Clarendon.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
another fun thing is they have like a jazz bar at night, and they had red tables out where I had my French croissants every morning before we took off.
Oh, okay. Now, see the croissants. Boy, that's it's even when I go to the grocery store and I see croissants, it's like, oh boy, Lisa, you know you want those.
The French pastries were amazing. Now, they're known for a
And
big
these are not like the grocery store ones I'm talking about.
no,
No.
real butter. They are so
Oh,
good. And then they also have this other pastry called beaver tails. Beaver tails, yes. It's famous in Quebec. It's like fried dough with cinnamon sugar on it, and it is good too. Really good.
ooh,
Hot.
almost like
Good,
a
big hot.
churro.
Yeah,
Almost like
kinda. But looking like a big flat beaver tail, that's why they call them that.
okay. Now, okay, so at the hotel itself, so this is the Clarendon. So I wonder about that because Clarendon is a famous hotel name from way back when, even through, I know there's Claridge's and Clarendon.
Yeah.
Those two are, well-known names. So I wonder if they're connected in history somewhere. I don't
The
know, but I just in the back of my mind, I go,
yeah.
I wonder if there's history there because it's from the 1800s.
Yeah. I think it is the oldest hotel in Canada. 1870 is when
That's
it
pretty,
started.
wow. Wow, wow, wow. Well, very cool times. Would you go back again even?
Yeah. And especially, winter is a wonderful time to go. I haven't been there in winter, but they have this wonderful ice hotel. They have another
Right, it's them.
yes,
Oh,
and then they have a winter festival called a carnival, and that is very famous. And so winter is just as popular to go to Quebec as summertime, but they love their festivals. We went to the new French festival, but they had one in June, and that one is more about music and art called Festival des Têtes Quebec.
now I wanted to bring out this because you talk about going, in the period, the summertime through September, really for the festivals, but you're talking
Yeah.
about winter's fantastic as well. Getting around, you use some kind of pass. Tell
Yeah.
everyone about that because that's a really good tip for people.
Just go on the website on when this publishes, there'll be a website for Visit Quebec, and they have something called the Privilege Pass. So you get it in advance, and it gives you discounts off of the museums and fun things to do, and it really saves you a lot of money, and it kind of organizes you. Like you look at the pass, all the things, and you go, "Oh, I forgot. I have to go here. I have to go here."
Okay. Very cool. So it's like a little guide as well,
Yeah.
the
Yes.
way it works. And it's I cannot pronounce anything, but it's Quebec dash city, but it's CITE
Yes.
.com slash
Yes.
forward slash EN for English. That link is in the episode notes and Sharon's article is in the episode notes. So check that out so you can, and also see all of Sharon's beautiful photos, especially if you're just listening versus watching this. Go check out her photos. She always takes beautiful photos of where she goes, and she always goes to beautiful places and
I
historic
do.
places. I love how you find history and nature. You always manage to do that,
Yeah,
find those
those
connections.
are my 2 favorite things.
Yeah, and then good food and wine. Come on now.
Well, those 2. Okay, 4 favorite things.
Yeah, we got we gotta have all of it. So we're very excited. Next month, we're going to start talking about your experiences in Germany. You were what, 3 weeks in Germany?
3 weeks, just got home last week.
Wow. So we're looking forward to hearing about your cruise and then all these medieval villages that you went to. So everyone stay tuned for that. Thank you, Sharon. Always so much fun chatting with you here on the podcast, Wonder the World with Sharon.
Thank you, Lisa. It was fun.
Thanks for joining us here on Big Blend Radio's Wonder the World with Sharon podcast. You can keep up with Sharon's adventures at SharonKKurtz.com. Follow Big Blend Radio at BigBlendRadio.com. Happy travels!